So welcome back to DecoyNoise, where you're taking some r/ProRevenge to Decoy Court in a story about friend crank called me at my job, so I had him serve with a fake paternity suit at his. So we take stories from all around the internet, we shove them into Decoy Court, where I give you my knee-jerk reaction to the situation, do some decoy defense where we figure out what would the inverse of that been, read some top comments and your comments down below, but let's go ahead and go to OP's story right now. So OP wrote, 10 years ago, a friend of mine crank called me several times at my office over the course of a day. I decided in that moment that 1, this would not stand, and 2, rather than entering into a long, protracted quagmire of a prank war, I would use the nuclear option and end it immediately. My friend, Mike, is a well-known local bartender. I worked at the same bar as a bouncer, and he was very much enjoying the single life at the time, facts which I knew I could take advantage of. Soon, a plan began to form. I would have him served with a fake paternity suit while he was working at the bar. So, I compiled a ton of free online legal documents, not just for the paternity suit, but also income disclosure forms, statements of paternal rights, and suggested visitation schedules pending demonstrable proof of sobriety. I filled out all the forms, then smeared what looked like date received stamps as proof that they had been filed and ran copies to make those stamps look even more illegible. From there, I crafted a backstory to be included in a cover letter from a fictional mother's fake law firm, the nearby city family law center, on letterhead and all. The mother was an Irish exchange student visiting the area the previous summer. She had only been with Mike, so she knew the baby, Eliza, was his. The cover letter encouraged Mike to call the regular office hours to discuss arranging a DNA test to affirm paternity. I set up a genetic voicemail for the number listed as the office on the letterhead. By the end, the paperwork was somewhere between 20 to 25 pages. I enlisted another friend not known by Mike to serve the documents and instructed him to do so around 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening. I told him to keep the interaction very simple. I wasn't able to be by the back bar because I knew I would be laughing too hard. But based on eyewitness reports, it played out like this. Friend, are you Mike, last name? Mike, yes. Friend, Michael, middle name, last name? Mike said, yes. The friend dropped the folder on the bar. Mike asked, what's that? The friend said, a paternity suit. You've been served. Turns around and immediately walks out of the bar. Mike, yeah, that sounds about right. So, Mike read through the packet, shakily poured himself several drinks, and then ran over to the bar owner who was aware of the prank to ask what to do. He also called the number on the letterhead, but sadly did not leave a voicemail. After a solid 10 minutes of intense psychological revenge, the owner finally told Mike he should closely read the last page of the packet. On it, in size 2 font, it read, "Go F yourself, Mike." At which point, Mike ran out the front door and punched me in the chest. Epilogue. Several months later, Mike was on a trip across the country. He had left his car at home with his mom, who generously had washed it for him. Mike, for some reason, kept the paternity suit paperwork in his driver's side door. During the course of the car wash, his mother found it and read the entire thing, then called him sobbing in the middle of the night, asking why he hadn't told her about her Irish granddaughter. So, as always, take the case over to Decoy Court, where we're going to try to discuss whether or not OP was the antagonist for doing this. Was this overkill revenge? And I'm going to go ahead and say this is just genius revenge because, you know, the best pranks have no long-lasting effects other than the fact that, you know, he left the packet for his mother to find. That was kind of like, you know, a innocent bystander thing. But the idea is, yeah, the fake paternity suit, having it very detailed and very specific to Mike. You know, even though it was just prank calls, I never even knew that they called them crank calls. But even though it was just prank calls and it was probably something just very benign and silly, the idea that he just got, you know, he not only did he say, oh yeah, fake paternity suit, he was like legal documents, had a voicemail, Google number information, you know, lined up to kind of back it up, and also told his boss that, you know, you need to, before he goes off on the deep end and is like, you know, starts crying or anything, still tell him what's going on. And also on the prank itself, it had like, you know, little footnotes saying, hey, this is fake. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that he's not the antagonist because he did a good prank. It was funny in a good way. The only sad part is the fact that the mother, what do you call it, found out about it in a very sad way. The decoy defense is how, you know, how could the OP be the antagonist is, you know, it wasn't actually a fake baby situation. It was just like, hey, he found that, you know, Mike was being served by this girl, Eliza's mother is like, oh yeah, he's the baby. He was like, you know what? this is gonna be a good prank right now. I'm gonna fake the paternity suit, and I'm gonna make him pretend that it was a prank, but it's actually gonna be him ignoring his real daughter. And like, it's super messed up because, you know, they try to reach out to him, try to get some child support, tried to get Mike to be the good guy and raise his daughter because he wanted to be a dad the entire time. But no, he just went ahead and just stamped that one sentence on the last sheet of paper, trying to say that, you know, the real prank was making him not raise his kid. That's what he was doing, which would make him totally the antagonist right here. But as always, this guy got a lot of awards, so we're gonna take a short break right now. I'm gonna ask you guys what your opinion is because before we read those top comments, I don't want any of our opinions to be swayed. I want to know what we genuinely think before we read some rational thought on Reddit. So the top post was, that epilogue though. Did you think he was frantically trying to explain, or was he just laughing his butt off on how incredible this revenge was? I mean, the mom got really sad, so you're probably just gonna tell her like, hey, look, this was just a prank, I don't really have a daughter or whatever, because, you know, just because your mom got hit in the crossfire, that's always a messed up, sad thing. The next reply was, OMG, this is great. Love that his mom found out too. Another win for you. Now, that's kind of messed up because it was just like, you know, the mom wasn't crank calling you. It's not like one of those, you know, Game of Thrones scenarios where it's like, you know, you offended me on those prank calls so bad, I need to take 2 generations of your family out right now to let you know that no matter what, you come at you come at me, put one of my guys in the hospital, I put 2 of your people in the morgue type of situation. Like, no, that was too far. But let's go ahead and read another reply saying, petty revenge served like a pro. Me likey. The fact that he dealt himself an extra serving the revenge is icing on the cake. Yes, which is true because this wasn't OP's doing. This is, you know, Mike doubling down on his punishment because he went ahead and just hid the paternity papers in his glove box. I think it would be kind of a funny situation, so that's probably why he would save it and kind of have it for himself to read later on. But let's go ahead and see what OP said. If this makes the front page of Reddit, I'm going to screenshot it, print it out, and send it framed to my friend as an eternal reminder. See, and that's why he wouldn't be the antagonist, is because they have a kind of a cool, you know, joshing back and forth relationship. And here's the thing, I guess we're trying to do the Decoy Court by taking people to seeing if they're the antagonist or not, but this just sounds like they have a good friendship. They're like, you know, a bouncer and a bartender at a popular pub, and they're just messing around with each other. This is a good relationship. I guess we can't take too many of these pro-revenge stories to Decoy Court. I guess I have to go to only just nuclear revenge, because oftentimes that's like, you know, oh, my cat stepped on my foot when he was walking by, so I put him in a UPS box and sent him to Serbia or something. It's like one of those things where it's like, hey, this was not the equivalency, like you went too far. So pro-revenge maybe not the best place to do my reviews, but as always, maybe in a short video you guys have made it to the end of the video and now you realize, hey, at the end of every episode of DecoyNoise they have a little celebration. It's like SNL with some music at the end. We're having a good time, so maybe this will encourage you guys to watch the entire videos start to finish every single time, because there is something fun that happens at the end of it. But as always, just go ahead and put this on autoplay and watch the next episode of DecoyNoise coming up next.